morning. Welcome to Positive Vibes once again. Today we are studying history, nationalism in India. Dear students, whenever you are studying history, study in a chronological order. So listen, 1600, the formation of English East India Company. After that, Britishers they came to India for trade. Then they laid the foundation in India for their empire in 1757 by the Battle of Plassey, 1764 Battle of Buxar. After that, almost all areas of India became under the control of Britishers. Then they ruled for a longer time, around 200 years. And the first unified movement against the Britishers was in 1857, the Great Revolt of 1857. After that, at the beginning of the 20th century only, notable movements started against the Britishers. Before that, in 1885, Indian National Congress was formed by Alan Octavian Hugh, a pensioned British officer. That time, the aim of the Indian National Congress was not to get freedom. Later, by the dawn of the 20th century, Indian National Congress became more practical and more effective. Two groups there were in that, moderates and the extremists. The extremist leaders were Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Roy, Bipin Chandra Pal, etc. The moderates they were Surendranath Banerjee, Dadabhai Naoroji, Badruddin Tyabji, Firoz Shah Mehta, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, such people. In such a way, at the beginning of the 20th century, the freedom movement actively worked out with some movements. In this time, the notable comment really by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He told, "Liberty is my birthright and I shall have it." This time only Mahatma Gandhi came back from South Africa around 1915. When he came to India, two groups there were, moderates and extremists, I told you. By that time, Bal Gangadhar Tilak died and Mahatma Gandhi gradually became the leader of Indian National Congress. Then there onwards, we have to study the Gandhian era, the Gandhi spirit till 1948 in the history of India. So like that only we have to start the chapter. So at the beginning of the chapter, actually we have to deal with the First World War and its impacts in India. As you know, the First World War is from 1914 to 1918. By that time only, Mahatma Gandhi also came to the field. Before that, in 1909, Gandhi wrote a book, Hind Swaraj. He really explained what are his aims and how he wants to fight against the Britishers in that particular book. Anyway, we have to look on the First World War. First World War at the beginning of the 20th century, Britain is an active member of the First World War. By that time, so many colonies there were in different parts of the world. The main colony was India. Britishers, they were lacking with the soldiers in the fight war. They started recruiting the Indians, forced recruitment. For to meet the expense of war, they began to impose more taxes. By the time in India, high poverty, high price for goods, and the people were struggling, and epidemics, spreading diseases, they were in India, and Indian community was in a deep trouble. Britishers, they imposed more taxes and all, forcibly taken the people to British army to fight against Germany, and at the same time, poverty, unemployment, and spreading diseases in India. So the First World War contributed such very bad things to India. That time only Mahatma Gandhi came to India. This is the first question, the impact of First World War on India. That time only Gandhi entered, 1915 I told you. He followed a policy of non-violence. So here only we have to study Satyagraha. The second question, Satyagraha. What is meant by Satyagraha? Satyagraha is a different method of fight. It is based on non-violence. Satyagrahi never fight against the Britishers, and it is based on truth and non-violence. In such a way, Mahatma Gandhi started the movement in India in three places: in Champaran, Kheda, and Ahmedabad. These three questions three spaces to be located in the Indian map? That's a question. These places are, two places are there in Gujarat and one is in Bihar. He went to Bihar and the plantation workers of Bihar, the peasants, he encouraged the people to fight against the Britishers, against their oppressive ruling system. In Kheda, the peasants, they were struggling with the epidemics and disease and poverty. Gandhi told them, don't pay rent or don't pay taxes to the Britishers. There he started the movement. The last one, in Ahmedabad in 1918, to work against the Britishers, it's really happened in the Ahmedabad means mills. Like in three places, he started the Satyagraha movements. That is the second question I told you, where the Satyagraha movements, early Satyagraha movements in India. So 1918, I told you Ahmedabad mill workers Satyagraha. By that time, in 1919, Britishers, they introduced a new act that is called Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act is really an act passed by the Britishers in the Imperial Legislative Council to arrest or means any Indian without a reason, without a solid reason, and at the same time they can be imprisoned in jail for 2 years without a trial. Such a very bad policy adopted by the Britishers. It's a policy of detention. Detention means arrest. Against this, a lot of people in different parts of the country, they started a movement. That is what is called a Rowlatt Satyagraha. So Rowlatt Act, against this act, Rowlatt Satyagraha was widely spread throughout the country. In that time only, in 1919, the same year, Jallianwala Bagh massacre occurred. The people really assembled in Amritsar, in Jallianwala Bagh to protest against the Rowlatt Act. Some people, they came to celebrate Baishagi festival. They assembled there. They were not aware of this martial law by the Britishers, suppressive law. General Dyer, the British officer, ordered to shoot the Indians, shoot at the Indians. A lot of people killed. This incident is called Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Actually, this incident paved the way for the widespread of freedom movement throughout the country. All the people, they started to fight against the Britishers. But one thing, there was not an open fight on the basis of the non-cooperation movement that is just coming now. Anyway, this widespread anger, widespread protest against the Britishers throughout the country happened as a result of this Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1990. In 1920, Khilafat movement was formed. In 1920, Ali brothers, Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali, they formed Khilafat movement in Bombay. Why I am telling the years, these years are very, very important. Like a story you have to study. Actually, this Khilafat movement is not Indian origin. In the First World War came to an end in 1918. The Britishers, they suppressed the authority of Ottoman Turk Khalifa, the Muslim head of the world. His powers cancelled. So to restore the authority of the Sultan, a movement started in India that is called Khilafat movement. In Turkey also there was nothing. In Turkey there was no such a movement. But in India, in Bombay, they started the Khilafat movement. Mahatma Gandhi thought it's a good weapon to unite Hindus and Muslims. That's why he supported Khilafat movement. After 1 year or the next month or at the beginning of the 1921, non-cooperation movement started. Why I told after 1 month, in 1920, there were 2 sessions for the International Congress. One was in September, other was in December. September session was held in Calcutta. There itself, Gandhi introduced the Khilafat movement, non-cooperation movement. Gandhi spoken about the unity of Hindu and Muslims, and we have to join together and fight against the Britishers. So to confirm this, again one session was there in Nagpur in 1920. In that session, they decided to start the non-cooperation movement. They started it. That's why December 10 next year means 1921 January onwards, the non-cooperation movement started in our country. In the 1921 non-cooperation movement started. Along with that, the Khilafat movement also there. Khilafat movement, mainly the Muslims, the participants. Non-cooperation movement, everyone. These two together happened in 1921 onwards. Khilafat movement and non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement, the champion of non-cooperation movement, that is Mahatma Gandhi. That I already told you. In Hind Swaraj, the book written by Gandhi, it is very clearly written how to fight against the Britishers through non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement is nothing but not cooperating Britishers in all spheres of life that will lead to weaken the British Empire, like only Gandhi thought. Where the non-cooperation movement, all the children or the students, they boycotted the schools, teachers, they boycotted the schools, headmasters resigned from their post, advocates, all politically, all these people, they boycotted from their work. Then economically, boycotting the foreign dress. International conquest leaders, they burned the British clothes and they began to use khadi dress in towns and at the same time in villages, in plantation, in hilly regions, everywhere this movement started. But actually, when we are studying about this movement, there was a big drawback for this movement. When the Britishers, when the Indians, they started the non-cooperation movement, there was no alternative systems. When boycotting the schools, no alternative schools. Boycotting the colleges, no alternative colleges. Boycotting the administrative system, there is no alternative administrative system. Boycotting the foreign dress, the production of khadi dress very expensive. Boycotting the job opportunities, not able to produce employment opportunities within the country. Like totally there was a failure we can see in the non-cooperation movement. It did not affect the British rule at all. So that's why gradually the people, they withdrew from the non-cooperation movement and they joined back to their own profession, schools, colleges, jobs, etc. Khadi dress was also failed because it was very expensive than the British clothes. But anyway, as the students of history, we have to study the movements in towns, villages or countryside and in plantation, how the non-cooperation movement flourished, that we have to understand. Really, there's a question, what were the failures of the non-cooperation movement? As I said already, movement in towns was little more effective than movement in village or in plantation. In towns, the people all boycotted British clothes, education, employment, and they started to boycott. At the same time, there was picketing. Some new terms are there. Boycotting. Boycotting means just go away, resigning the job or resigning the school. Picketing means not allowing, or at the entrance of the office, the people, they are sitting and means showing their protest. So picketing, boycotting, but anyway, at the end, as I told, it's really failed because of the lack of alternative system. And at the same time, it was very passive movement, not directly attacking, not directly means fighting with the Britishers. Instead of that, a passive system. Anyway, there was a failure we can see in the non-cooperation movement in cities. Actually, the movement really flourished in cities only. Then when we are moving to the countryside, here or there in India, some parts, we could see some movements. The first and foremost important movement was happened in Oudh, the Oudh Kisan Sabha. What happened in Oudh? The Britishers, they introduced the high taxes. Actually, the tax collecting people were talukdars or zamindars, whoever it may be, they are collecting taxes. Due to this system, the people, they were in big trouble. Another one was traffic in human or beggar system. You know, when we are looking into our constitution, the beggar system, traffic in human, is really cancelled. At present, there is no beggar system. Forced labor, without payment, without a salary, without wage, the people are forced to work long hours of work without a proper wage or remuneration. So here there was a wide protest in Oudh. In such a circumstance, Oudh Kisan Sabha was formed by Jawaharlal Nehru. Not only Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi was also involved. Baba Ramchandra. Baba Ramchandra was the real leader of this Oudh Kisan Sabha. But they decided that no need to pay taxes to the Britishers because the life was very miserable for the farmers. There was poverty, epidemics, and Awadh Kisan Sabha was formed there, and totally Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru supported the movement and said no need to pay tax or revenue, no rent campaign was flourished in that particular area. The second one, that is in Gudem Hills of Assam. In Gudem Hills of Assam, also a movement started by the leadership of Alluri Sitaram Raju. Don't study much about Alluri Sitaram Raju, but what happened here? Because the hilly regions, actually what happened, the people, they were not permitted to enter in the forest. Their life was really related with the forest. To get firewood, means other things, fruits, everything, their life was really associated with the forest. When the entry of these people to the forest, that created a lot of issue among the people. Under the leadership of Alluri Sitaram Raju, a movement started against the Britishers. He was really a follower of Mahatma Gandhi. He was inspired by the non-cooperation movement. But at the same time, later he understood with the non-cooperation movement, it is very difficult to defeat Britishers. That's why he started guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare he started against Britishers and started some movements in these regions against Britishers. Finally, what happened? He was caught in 1924 and was killed by the Britishers. Alluri Sitaram Raju. His movement in the Gudem Hills of Andhra Pradesh. Now we have to move to Assam, the plantation. In Assam, what happened? The Inland Immigration Act was passed by Britishers in 1959. Inland Immigration Act was passed by the Britishers in 1859. As a result of that, the movement was curtailed. The movement was not allowed. The people, those who are working in the tea plantations of Assam, they cannot come back to their home or they can't move freely. Their freedom was not there. Freedom of movement was not there according to this act. It was really horrible, and that time only the stories of Gandhiji and the freedom movement flourished there, and the people, they believed in Gandhism or Gandhi or Gandhi Raj instead of British Raj. They thought get freedom is better than work under these Britishers. In such a circumstance, a wide movement was there in the tea plantations of Assam by that time. These are the movements related with non-cooperation in countryside, city, and in plantation regions. Thus, the movement was very slowly moving on. By that time, in 1922, a big incident happened in Gorakhpur district in Uttar Pradesh in Chauri Chowra. The movement was very peaceful movement, but it was fast, agitated, and the people, they burned a police station and 22 British officers were killed. The phase of the movement changed to violence. Such a circumstance, what happened? Mahatma Gandhi, he was really shocked because he was a champion of non-violence and non-cooperation, but now it is violence. That's why he just called off the non-cooperation movement as a result of this Chauri Chowra incident in 1922. So Chauri Chowra incident that paved the way for the withdrawal of Mahatma Gandhi from the freedom movement. Mahatma Gandhi's withdrawal means the Congress withdrawal because he was the champion of International Congress during that time. That much only about the non-cooperation movement. The next part, in the next class, I will speak about the civil disobedience movement. Just look into the review questions. So some questions are there. At the end of this video, just watch it and try to answer those questions. If you are able to answer those questions, it will be fine, or again watch the video or look at your textbook and try to find the answers of those questions. In the next session, I will start with the civil disobedience movement. That is the second part of the national movement. Till then, thank you so much to hearing my video. Once again, thank you for everyone. Nishad Lallu from Positive Vibes.